So I had just come off a very difficult family ordeal. My father-in-law had just passed away, and my husband and son were still in San Antonio. And I had come back to try to start putting, life back together. And it was, 2:00 in the afternoon on a Sunday. I'm like, I think I need to go to church. But all the churches that I'd ever known were at, 10 o'clock or earlier. And I remembered that I had seen this church billboard that said 5 o'clock on Sundays. And I just truly believe that that was a gift from God. And I say this all the time, and it can sound trite or cliche, but truly ACC has been a gift from God. So I come into church that evening, and as soon as I walked in, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. As soon as I walked in, I felt this hug, this comfort, like I was exactly where I was supposed to be in that moment. And the first song was played, and I immediately just start crying. It was a place for me to feel vulnerable, which I did, but it was also a very safe place for me.
So when Jordan and I first got married, we were looking for a church that we could call home, that we could plant roots in, and that had a few criteria. One of those was we wanted something that was community focused, that had a good Sunday, but really was more focused about creating disciples than having us go into the community, invest in the people in our neighborhood, and that's what we found in Arcadia City. With Michael and Christy and the rest of the team here, we really just feel like they give us the resources that we need to do that, to grow in our faith in Jesus, to learn what it means to follow him better, and then give that gift to the rest of our community. We found a lot of life in that.
Well, after Julie and I got married, we wanted to find a church that was our own, not one that she went to or that I went to. And so we tried a number of different churches, probably a dozen of them over the years, and couldn't really find one that we felt like was right for us. I think probably not lasting more than a couple months at any of the churches. And one day Julie told me that she saw a new church down the street that she wanted to try, and I wasn't particularly optimistic just because we hadn't had great success so far. But I'll never forget walking up for the first time, I guess it was probably over 3 years ago now, and being greeted by Christy and Kristen, and just the excitement and enthusiasm they had. They were genuinely excited that we were there, and I knew instantly this church would be different.
When we first got married, we were looking for a church to plant our roots in, and we were really looking for a place that invested in its community, a place where we could connect with others, and a place where we were able to love our new neighbors, and we really found that here at Arcadia City Church.
When we moved to the neighborhood about 1.5 years ago and started looking for a church, it was really important for us to have a church right in the neighborhood where we would be able to invite neighbors or feel like we could make an impact within a couple blocks of our house. So I think the first exciting thing was that it was so close. We can bike, and we do bike when we come in person to service, and we feel like this is our neighborhood home.
Yeah, and with that, one of the special things we felt from the first time that we walked in here was that we were known. Like we walked in, we were welcomed that very first time, and each time subsequently, where the staff introduced themselves to us, helped us make connections with other folks in the congregation, and we just felt really, really known from the very beginning.
So we went from having no church home to attending service regularly on a weekly basis, volunteering in children's ministry, joining a community group that meets every Tuesday, and I recently joined the budget committee. And we found Michael and Christy's sermons to be useful and relevant in our everyday and spiritual life. We wanted to find a church where our family could grow in Christ, and that's been ACC for the past 3 years. We've had the privilege of joining a community group that's led by Michael and Christy, and it's allowed us to get to know other members of the church on a deeper level. It's allowed us to grow in our faith, and it's motivated us to go out and share that with the community, which is nothing that we've ever felt called to do or even felt comfortable with doing in the past.
I have never been a person who is particularly into church. I didn't go to church as a child. I mean, I was forced to go to church, but it became a place for me, not that I had to go. ACC became a place that I didn't have to go, but that I desperately wanted to go to, and that I looked forward to going to, and that I look forward to bringing my son to.